And I really like the tanks. They really show off my girlish figure.
Yeah, Drew, you look good in those tanks. Welcome to Woodshop 101. This is episode 152 for April 15th, 2019. I'm Jeremy Crawford of Countryside Workshop, and I'm joined today by my co-host Drew Short of Rockin' H Woodshop and SamRyan Designs Sam Wooddell of SamRyan Designs. Sorry, Sam. And our guest host, Kristin Stockdale from Stockdale Designs and owner of WorkbenchCon and Haven. How is it going, everybody?
Wonderful.
I mean, it's not like we haven't already been talking for like 30 minutes. You know, just waiting for Sam to hop on.
I know. Sorry, everyone.
Sam was trying to dip us.
I was. It has been so nice. It's been so nice to talk, and it's been really good.
You get warmed up for the conversation. So
I know. Exactly. Now I feel left out. So
we'll bring into the conversation. We got a lot of good information to drop. So
quit carrying your mic around everywhere. That's all I can tell you.
I know, right?
All right, well, we want to thank our patron supporters: John Ramminger, Sean McHenry, Carl Mose, Neil Sims, Eric Rhoten, Earl from Rustic Saw, and Kenneth Aponte. I'm going to guess. If you want to become a patron of our Patreon campaign, head over to patreon.com/woodshop101. All of our patrons receive an after show twice a month as a benefit. You can support the show by purchasing some podcast swag at countrysideworkshop.com/shop. While you're at it, go leave us a 5-star rating at a podcast player of your choosing. And we want to give a big shout out and thanks to today's sponsor, which is Organic Recreations Woodshop over on Instagram. We have been working with them to develop a new logo for the podcast, which when you are listening to this will debut. So go look at our Instagram website. We will have a new logo. We've kind of been working for a couple weeks now, right? To rebrand, and we felt like had a big hurrah at WorkbenchCon and come back and rebrand. So we was like, hey, everybody, here's our stickers. Like, now we're going to change our logo. After we got a whole bunch of stickers still. But yeah.
They're going to be the throwback ones.
Right,
absolutely.
Exactly. Vintage.
Absolutely.
Exactly.
And so Willie and Chrissy have been just like absolutely amazing to work with. So if you guys are looking for a new logo or you don't have one and you want to get started, go give them a shout and let them know we sent you, because absolutely fantastic to work with. I know I've used them for my own personal brand. Sam's used them for hers, and they were just an automatic go-to for the podcast logo. We're also going to have a whole bunch of new merch coming out. So everything is with the old logo is going to be taken down. And the new stuff will be coming online within the week. So if you want some new shirts, I think we probably won't put hoodies up right now because it's getting into the summer season, but we'll put some tanks up for the ladies and get a couple different shirt designs up. So go pick yourself some up of that with all the new logos on it. If you want to find out or go see Organic Recreations Woodshop, go to bit.ly/OR Woodshop. That's bit.ly/OR Woodshop. And it'll take you straight to their Instagram so you can see all the awesome logos they do for all the woodworkers and makers out there. So,
and I really like the tanks. They really show off my girlish figure.
Yeah, Drew, you look good in those tanks. So
I just pulled out my Woodshop 101 tank. I just put it out.
So Drew, if you want that black shirt with white logo, you better go get it because
it's going to be gone.
It will be gone.
Yeah, I need to order it. I really do.
So it is easily my favorite. All right, Kristin. Well, I know we've had you on before, but hopefully we've gained some new followers and some new listeners since then. So give us your quick elevator speech. Let us know who you are. And then we're going to get into some questions. We're going to rapid fire some random questions at you. It's something new that we started this year just to get a little bit more behind the scenes on you.
Very nice. Well, I'm Kristin Stockdale, owner of Stockdale Design and the umbrella company of WorkbenchCon and Haven Conference. Two conferences that are very much geared toward the DIYer. However, one is more design niche and one is more of the maker, kind of hardcore creator, furniture, all that good stuff, woodworker, metalworker. My mission is to give strength to those who can work with their hands to create a life that they love.
Yeah. I mean, WorkbenchCon I've done the last 2 years is fantastic. Like, it's been a blast both years, and the fact that like it was double the size as last year is just insane.
Yeah.
Like, we're all like, oh, hey, we're gonna head down a day early, just kind of relax and hang out together. And then it was like, wait, everybody showed up a day early.
Right.
Next year we're gonna have to show up 2 days early. Just
right. It was so amazing when I found out, how many people were coming. It was just, it just fills my soul. This community is just amazing. Blows my mind.
So, all right. Well, we're gonna rapid fire questions at you. We're gonna do 2 each. The shortest answer you can give us. If you gotta elaborate a little bit. Drew, you want to go first?
Yeah.
This is fitting.
I just put it in there too. What is your favorite wine?
Okay. I would say Pinot Noir. Fast.
Okay.
All right.
Specific
very.
brand.
Specific brand. La Crema or Mayomi.
Okay.
So you're more of a dry, not necessarily a sweet wine. You just like
yeah. Well, so for like hot, wet white wine, probably Sauvignon Blanc. Kim. What I can't think of the name, but Whitehaven or oh gosh, Eric's gonna kill me. I can't think of the name, but Sauvignon Blanc is probably my favorite white, and then Mayomi is probably my favorite red.
I'm a Moscato person myself. I really like
nice.
sweet stuff.
Hey, I like a Moscato too. I love all kinds of wine.
Wine connoisseur.
No discrimination here.
Okay, good.
All right, Sam, what you got? What's your question?
Okay, so my question is, you should have gone next.
Okay,
Sure.
well, I'll go next.
You go next.
All right. If you could start any other conference in any genre, what would it be?
Art. What speaks to my soul is what we can make from within us. And I feel like art is a very natural progression from the Haven and Workbench. So okay. Art, I have my eye on art.
Okay.
Like fine art, like watercolor and oil and...
Yeah. So some painting, some drawing.
Exactly.
Nice.
I used to do that to make extra cash. I used to draw portraits for a lot of my classmates.
Very cool. Is that a little known fact or a huge fact?
I mean, I've known him for 5 years and I haven't ever heard this before. So.
Right?
It was a little known fact.
That is great. That's huge talent too.
So Drew, you gotta draw something.
Is huge.
Drew, you gotta draw something so we can drop it in the show notes.
Well, I can send a picture of something that I've drawn. I've got big portfolios that.
All right, well, there you go. We gotta drop something in the show notes.
So, I'll send some of mine too, because I used to take art classes, watercolor, acrylic.
Stick figures don't count, Sam.
Are you serious?
That's just rude.
I'm just joking.
I went to design school. Did you go? You went to design school. You have a huge bowl for interior design. We would have to do
Now don't spoil my question.
Craziness.
Yeah, my favorite medium is graphite. I love graphite because you can do so much shading. So much.
It is really fun. The other day I pulled out my toolbox, we would bring the toolbox with all of your little stuff, and I was playing with it and I was like, oh, this is so fun. Cause now I just draw everything on the computer. I'm like, why am I not doing this? But it's so fun.
It's so funny that you said tool because you're so right. So back in the day, I don't know, and people might still have this as a makeup box, but I had this bright pink and purple Eric, like caddy. It was a toolbox, but it was a makeup caddy is what it was. But it was perfect for all like the gummy erasers and the pencils and the ink and the. Oh, it was so great.
That's so funny. Was it a kit and caboodle thing?
Yes. Exactly.
Oh, that's awesome. I can't draw people. I can't draw. I can draw like rooms and.
Look at that. That is amazing.
That's really good. I can't do that.
That's some talent.
And you even captured like the romance between those two.
Yeah. That's really good.
This is, I did that in 98. That's been a long time ago.
Wow.
10-year-old drawing right there.
20-year-old drawing?
Oh, yeah, 20-year-old drawing.
Yeah.
There you go.
Whoa, that's crazy. Yeah, see, I can't do people's face. That's like one thing I can't do. Buildings and stuff, that's amazing. I can't.
And then I have one more. This one's probably my favorite, though.
Oh, bring on Wonder Woman. Is that Wonder Woman?
No, this is all Titanic based. That's Celine Dion whenever she did the soundtrack for Titanic.
Oh, beautiful.
That's really cool. So, actually, Jeremy, I do draw stick figures for people.
Right? After seeing that, yes, draw stick figures.
Maybe I do draw stick figures.
Yeah. If you want a picture of like a house or something, I could do that, but I cannot do that. It's always like one eye is like way bigger, and you're like, okay, nobody look at that. That's horrible.
That's why I stick to the computer.
That is crazy. Yeah. That is awesome.
Thank you.
So I have my question now. I wrote it down. Sorry. If you didn't have your design company or didn't do design, let's say you can't do design. What other job would you do or want to do?
So party planning isn't that, like, can I say party planning? Nope. I can't, like, nothing of this. Nope. What would I do? I also, which is completely, I don't know which is creative and which is not, but I love Excel spreadsheets. So maybe I would be like a number cruncher.
Oh, that would be fun.
Yeah.
You know what a good job would be just to be like a spreadsheet connoisseur. So your service is like, hey, what kind of spreadsheet do you need? And I'll create it for you, whether it needs to be a database or whatnot.
There you go.
I like that. Really good at Excel.
I would be an Excel worksheet maker.
There you go.
There you go. There's your new job in case you can never do party planning and design ever again.
Ever.
Nice. All right, Drew, what's your next question?
Well, Sam kind of touched on this, but I didn't want her to spoil my question. So, where did you go to college, and did you like school?
So I was never very scholastically intelligent. My mom always said I had more street smarts than book smarts. I went to, I grew up half in California and half in Ohio. I finished high school in Ohio and went to Worthington High School and then went to Ohio State and then moved to Georgia and actually finished studying interior design and horticulture at Gwinnett Tech.
Okay, nice.
Yeah.
But did you really enjoy the experience?
You know what's funny is I really enjoyed I enjoyed a lot of the life lessons at Ohio State. I think I had a lot of life happen during Ohio State. But as far as like the scholastic experience, I think I enjoyed my technical school because it was so much more tangible and real and applicable to what I was actually doing.
Not to mention you really liked doing the interior design.
Right.
Yeah.
Yes.
Imagine going from interior design class to like math class. Like that is horrible. I'd be like, I'll take all the interior design classes, but do I have to take like social studies and like all like
so
history.
History was a challenge, and my attention span is a gnat size. So English, reading, history, tough. Mm-hmm. But math, I actually loved math. I'm like logistics. I love the logistics aspect of it all.
Hence the number cruncher.
Yes.
Yeah.
Very good.
That's why she likes Excel, because you have to use formulas to get it to work.
Exactly. Yeah. I would love to be a poet. I wish I was a writer. I wish I was eloquent. I'm just not.
She's honest. I mean, she's honest.
So, all right. Well, what is your favorite movie? Your all-time favorite movie?
Oh gosh. So my favorite movie. This is so shallow. The first thing that comes to my mind is Urban Cowboy.
Is it the first movie that came to your mind because you like it, or is it the first movie that just came to your mind because that's the first thing you thought about?
Well, why else would I think about it? Okay, so hold on. Oh, Princess Bride, probably. I love Princess Bride. Favorite. But I just love me some John Travolta. I mean, I can't think of a movie he's in that I don't like. Let me see. Yeah, quick answer. I gotta say Princess Bride. Because it's like classic cult.
Yeah, nice.
She's like, okay, I really like Urban Cowboy. I like Grease. I like Pulp Fiction.
I was about to go there.
Like, well, just name them all.
Michael, have you seen Michael? Oh my gosh, it's the greatest.
Yeah, Michael's awesome. I think one of his all-time best movies was, and I can't, Taking of Pelham 1, 2, 3, I think was that was the movie about where he hijacked the subway or the train.
Oh,
with Denzel Washington.
Yes.
That I think that was all time one of his best movies. He played a very dark role in that.
Intense.
And I think it fit because he was in a pretty dark place because his son had just passed away fairly not too long before that movie. But like just his role, like I felt like for the first time since his early movie career, he was like really playing the role really good. So
yeah,
I liked him in Face Off. I think he does a really good bad guy.
That was crazy.
Sounds like you're naming all these movies before I was born.
Yeah, Nick Cage and John Travolta.
He's another one I like.
To a key.
He has some really good swagger.
Hang on. Nobody's even mentioning Look Who's Talking. Like nobody mentioned Look Who's Talking. That's probably the best movie he ever plays in.
Oh, now I don't know that I know that one.
Look Who's Talking with
you don't know that one?
What?
With the babies?
It's Kirstie Alley?
Oh.
Yes.
Oh. Is that like yeah, okay.
That's where the babies talk and then
okay.
Yeah.
I know that one. There's like a sequel.
Yeah, there's I think 2.
Okay. Yep. That is funny. I know now. I know. Yep. Got it.
Oh God, that's old. We're talking like late 80s, early 90s, probably.
Yeah.
I remember that movie. I watched that movie
back when Bruce Willis was still popular.
Yeah, Bruce Willis. I love Bruce Willis.
Oh.
You know that Glass, the movie Glass, that just came out,
is the sequel to Unbreakable.
Yes, but then like Split 2, and then but I didn't I was like not thinking where Bruce Willis was coming from, but then I was like, oh, that's right, Unbreakable. It was so good. I have half of the movie left. I can't wait to watch it. I love Bruce Willis. I have a total crush on him.
Yeah, no, I'm right there with you. Did you watch that show he was in, Moonlighting, with
No, I didn't.
Oh, you need to. I don't know if it's on Netflix or what it's on, but Moonlighting is so good.
That is an old one.
Hey, I'm old.
Well, I still remember it, and I had seen it. It's just like Cagney and Lacey. I mean, that show was too.
Yes.
So, I'm right there with you. I'm almost 40, so I remember all that stuff too.
Game of Thrones. I love Game of Thrones. All right, we're going way off track.
Yeah. All right, Sam.
But Kristin just said something about Netflix, and I was just thinking, I need to watch like the last season of Game of Thrones over again. Sorry, guys.
I'm working on that.
What is your next question?
Favorite food?
Ooh.
Oh gosh, favorite food: tacos.
Oh, me too.
That goes great with wine.
Right? It's the perfect combo.
Taco Tuesday and wine.
Okay, you want me to get swanky? I would say brie cheese with cranberries and honey.
Oh,
that
we can go back to the tacos. So let's go back to the tacos.
Yeah,
now,
I actually rather eat.
Now, what kind of tacos? Like a true street taco, where with the corn tortilla, and it's all
corn
soaked
tortilla,
in
pork, lime, cilantro, done.
Yep, that was good.
not a Taco Bell.
I was just gonna say
taco.
No, we got
real tacos.
Torchy's is good, but Torchy's is not like true authentic tacos. But Torchy's is still awesome. But like we have this place here that like I just started taking my son to it. I've been going to it for a while, and it's like $1.50, $1.25 for a taco. Go in and eat 3 tacos, and you're like done because they serve them with 2 corn tortillas. Man, I want to go get tacos now. Dang.
I know.
Yep.
That sounds so good.
We have a food truck close to us that's kind of always in the same spot, and they serve the best street food. Mexican street food.
Maybe you should get that food
street
truck.
corn
Come to
is so
WorkbenchCon
good
next time.
Yeah.
That would be good.
Yeah. All right, so let's hop over. I know we had you on because we kind of want to talk a little bit about some lessons learned from WorkbenchCon this year, and some things that maybe you already have in the works and planned for next year. So what's some of the lessons learned from WorkbenchCon 2019 that are some of the big takeaways?
So the big takeaways, more hands-on classes, which has been something that we've wanted to do since day one. It's just a matter of, the resources and sponsors, all that good stuff. So definitely more 2019 that we need more hands-on classes. So that's something that we're looking forward to in 2020. I think it was really important for all the after activities for everybody to meet, for the hotel and the event venue to be a little bit closer together. That was a big takeaway. And maybe some more, like what we were talking about pre-show, is everybody coming in a day early. So maybe capitalizing on that just a little bit and having a jump start where you can choose. You don't have to. It's definitely would be part of the ticket, but have an extra keynote or have an extra couple workshops or something like that on Thursday prior to the welcome reception. So maybe you want to come in early because you've heard all this hype, but you don't know enough people that you're just going to go and jump right into a meetup or something. Mm-hmm. So you come and hang out with us and go to a keynote, or you go to a workshop, something like that. I think that's a really special takeaway that we're probably going to implement in 2020. Let's see, what were some of the other really good creative takeaways? I think that's good. The hands-on session, a balance between the hands-on, and then a lot of people wanted to go to the same lectures. So possibly bringing in a little bit more expert lecture style sessions and having more people attend less sessions during each time. Mm-hmm. Does that make sense?
Yeah, a little bit. So you're talking about having not as many sessions going on at the same time?
Yes. So instead of 6 sessions 3 different times a day, have, say, 4 sessions that are a little bit bigger. Audience would be larger.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
I do think too. There was a time whenever there were 2 sessions that were scheduled on the same time slot one day, and those same 2 classes were scheduled on the same time slot on a different day, and it was very difficult to offset which class that you wanted to go to because you might end up missing both.
Right.
So,
right.
I that was something that I thought is maybe a complete rearranging to where if something overlapped one day, that it wouldn't overlap the second day. And
what about if? So I know you would have to. This might be hard to do, but so what if you not to record the session for the public, but what if you record the session and then if you buy a ticket, then you get like, a login or whatever where you're allowed to watch it. The only thing is, how do you prevent those people from sharing it? I guess I don't know because then they don't come to the experience, but maybe you don't put it out until after, and then maybe it would get people's attention for then the next year. Maybe they'll be like, oh, actually that was really good, really fun. Maybe I should attend. But I don't know how. It's like hard because I was talking about that with a couple other people. It'd be cool if you could record them, because then everybody that went to Workbench could see every talk in class.
I could put it behind a password. I've thought about it. So it's kind of expensive. So I looked into it, and I had a couple people quote what it would be. Mm-hmm. It came back more expensive than I anticipated. Mm-hmm. But I could put it, like, as far as giving the WBC maker better ROI for the ticket, is I could put it behind like a passworded on a password page. Mm-hmm. And then if you didn't go to Workbench, you could pay for it, and that could be like alternate income. And I've thought about all of that. I'm just not sure. I don't know. I know. But
it's probably hard too, because it's the experience also going. So you don't want people to not come because, okay, now I can get all the classes. But really it is about connecting and
exactly.
It is, but I also think for one, so the attendees that go, say I went and heard somebody that came to our talk was like, oh man, they passed a bunch of good information. I wish I could hear that again. They have access to it. They can go listen to it. But then, like what you said, like those people that just can't financially pay for the hotel and the flight and everything, that yes, they're going to miss out on a lot of those perks of coming. The swag, they're going to miss out on the connections to meet with people. They're going to miss out on the ability to ask the presenter the questions.
Right.
But maybe recording it and putting it out there and saying, hey, this is, $100 or $150. They may be able to swing that instead of the $1,500 or $2,000 what it would take them to travel for the extended weekend. And maybe that in turn will end up paying for itself. Because I heard so many people that are like, oh man, I really wish I would have heard that, or I really wish I would have gone to that.
Well, and to Sam's point, I think it's a marketing tool as well. Like if they see the benefit of attending online, then like enhance that by 100,
mm-hmm.
right? By attending in person. And I'm that style of customer too. I want to see it and feel it before I dive in with,
mm-hmm.
$3,000. Because at the end of the day, like we totally understand it's not just the ticket, it's all the other stuff. It's a big expense.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's definitely been thought about, and bringing it up now makes me want to implement it even more. Mm-hmm. So yeah, I don't have a straight up answer, but I love the idea, and it's definitely been thought about.
I wonder if you could have all of the makers and content creators have such good cameras. I wonder if you could, the first year, see how it does, ask them, hey, record your session, then send it to us, and then you guys put it behind a password encrypted, and then everyone can go on and see there. Yeah. Then you don't have to spend as much on people recording. I don't know if it's like the website and all of that. that would make it also
No,
expensive.
it's the I think what the expense is the equipment, because you've got to sound mic everybody into those cameras, and then they have to edit it and all of that. And even if it's raw, like I don't think that anybody cares if it's just raw footage.
No.
Especially those who are there. A little concerned about the folks that weren't, because then it's not clean, but yeah.
That's how you listen to it in person anyway, is raw. So even if the footage is raw, it's not a big deal.
Yeah.
Because that's how they're going to hear it in person.
Exactly.
Yeah. And at the same token, like, would it be nice to have the video behind it? Yes, but it may be less of an expense if you just do audio, and people be able to listen to it.
And so what we're actually doing for Haven this year is we're not making anybody do anything, but we're asking if the speakers will put their presentation up on a special page of their website and keep it up for a couple weeks for exactly that. Like, there's so many times where in a presentation they offer links or they offer equipment or tips and tricks, and you just can't write fast enough, or your camera picture's fuzzy, whatever it is. And it's so nice to be able to come home and digest all that information and then be able to go and find, the slides someplace.
Which I know at least several of the ones that we went to at WorkbenchCon, like Aaron Massey, he sent out his slides after the fact. I think Will Walker was given the option to contact us, send them out. I know we recorded both of our talks, and in fact, when this episode goes live, people will be able to go sign up for our email list, and our email subscribers will actually get to hear our talk.
Good.
And then sometime later on during the year, we'll release it to everybody. But at least now it kind of incentivizes people. And I know Sam Raimondi did the same thing. She's releasing all of her slides. Yes, you are going to lose some context behind that because you don't have the verbal going with those slides. So the slides may just be a whole bunch of words up on a picture, and you don't get the context behind it. I understand that, but something's a little bit better than nothing at that point, right?
Exactly.
And I know Brad and John. Brad he just pretty much redid his entire talk during the Made for Profit episode that they did, I think a couple weeks ago. I'm not sure. So it's definitely getting out there, but I think there's definitely a big benefit if WorkbenchCon brings it as a whole and says, hey, this is the conference recorded. If you want it, and there's a website, creativelive.com, I think is the website. And they used to do it, or maybe still do, for photography and business stuff, where they would record it live, and I think to get like a session, I bought a session from a speaker that I know that did it. I think it was $150 to get like all 6 classes or something.
Okay.
That she did. So it was.
So that's great. Okay. That's good to know, because that's something like I personally, I don't know what the threshold would be for that. So that's good to know.
Yeah. Let me look it up. I think it's Creative Live. So they're an actual, I think maybe out in Washington, they're an actual studio. So people come in there and they already have all their camera equipment set up and everything.
Right.
But I don't see how that's much different than what WorkbenchCon would be. People are coming to WorkbenchCon. You would have equipment set up. So it is. It's creativelive.com. So maybe look through it and kind of see what they're doing and what they're charging for courses and stuff. And maybe a good starting point.
I love it. So, I love that idea. So that's really good. That's really good feedback. And some other things were just, more ways to integrate the audience together. Yeah. Which is fun. That's fun for me to kind of the details to think about too.
What did you get any feedback this year as far as brand time with like FaceTime with the brands?
Yes. So interesting, because I thought there was a lot of downtime, but I did receive more feedback that there wasn't enough time with the brands. So that's interesting, because there was more than enough time, but I think because you had to go all the way over to that other building and then all the way back and then all the way again, people might have chose to stay in a conversation they were having in the other building than to come back for a snack or whatever. Or they were having a conversation over there, came back for snack, and then ran back over, so didn't talk to the sponsors in between, which, being at the Galleria, that's not at all an issue. We're like literally, 20 steps
Yeah, absolutely.
from the classrooms to the main exhibit hall.
Mm-hmm.
So that's something that we fixed this year for sure.
Yeah. Yeah. So, I mean, I definitely heard some of that. It feeling like it was more like the opportunity, like when you came over into the main space, there was more, what's the word for it? Not swap meetish, but more of like a trade show of like you're coming over and they're just very quickly giving a demonstration. Like I didn't feel like the brands this year were as interested in let's talk business. Like, who are you? What
and
potential
relationship
can you bring?
building.
Like, I didn't feel like there was relationship building between the brands and the content creators this year, like there was the first year.
Right.
Yeah.
I agree.
also felt like that too. They
Yeah.
almost didn't seem, well, some of them seemed or were different, but some were, they kind of just didn't, it was different than the first year. I don't know how to explain it. I don't know. The first year they were like warm and welcoming, and they really wanted to show you like what they were, like what they had, and get to know you.
I felt like they were
And this
less
year,
trying
it
to
was like-
sell you something. I felt this year most of the brands were trying to sell you something versus trying to create that
Connecting.
relationship.
Yeah.
Connecting.
Yeah,
So-
I 100% agree. And that's one of the things, like when we vet our sponsors, and one of the questions is, do you have an influencer program like in place? Because this is it's not a trade show. It's not, people aren't walking by your booth like, don't like this, like, don't talk to me. They want to talk to you. They want to get to know your brand, and they want to work with you more than likely. So it was interesting because I feel the same way. Some of it might be a learning curve, and some of it might be just the way that particular brand markets with influencers. I don't know, but there were enough new sponsors there that it did throw off the vibe,
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. So with you saying that, would you say that Haven, the sponsors, is a little more intimate and a little more, is it different? Do you have a different vibe when you are there?
Yeah, so I would say, so the sponsors with Haven and Workbench are, there's probably like 20 to 30% crossover, where like Home Depot, Rust-Oleum, and Craig are at both. But then the other sponsors, they're 100% different. Like their market, or what their initiatives are totally different. So to answer your question, yes, I would say the experience you had at Workbench 1 is the same that you'll have at Haven, like all the time.
Yeah.
Okay.
But Haven is also, a lot of it has to do with the amount of content creators, the amount of attendees versus the amount of brand
Right.
brand sponsors there, right? So Haven is a little bit smaller, right? I think 350 max or something like that for Haven.
Right. And
so you're not competing with, another 100, 150 people.
Exactly. And going between that and going back to that whole trade show feel, I've had a couple like after action review conference calls with some of the sponsors. And that's what they were saying. They felt, I think what happened was we had some attendees that were not influencers, that were more fan based. And so some of the sponsors felt like all of a sudden they had to go from WorkbenchCon mode to trade show mode, and they weren't sure what they were at one point. Like they didn't know who anybody was that if they didn't already know them, they didn't know how to approach them. So they fell back to their default, which is the trade show mode. Mm-hmm. So yeah, it was interesting. Like that was interesting. So with that said, the ticket price might go up a little just so, because I still want the best hobbyist, want to be content creator to come and be with us, but I don't know how much I want the fan to come.
What about, and I don't know if I'm going to make enemies or not about this, but if you
I just felt kind of funny saying that.
If you had two different ticket prices, one for the influencer to get into the show, into where all of the sponsors are at, and to get into the classes, and then maybe another ticket of the fan base that may just get into the class only.
Yeah. I'm thinking that we need to develop that, which I was not necessarily open to. I had thought about it in the past and I wasn't necessarily open to it. But I do think because this group is very magnetic and has such a big fan base and people willing to pay that amount of money to come and see these folks, I think is something that I need to recognize and make room for. So what does that look like?
At least that way you won't, I mean, the sponsors won't be competing with fan base people. It'll just be the influencers, and that way the relationship building can get started again.
But then how do you pick, or like how do you determine who's a real influencer? Because now you have maybe some micro influencers that are only 4,000, but they really hit it off with companies and they're really good. They have a fan base and their followers are really engaged. So like, I'm almost to 120,000, but I have a great engagement, but sometimes maybe like the micro influencers have a better engagement because maybe all 4,000 people are like fully engaged in what they're doing. Not 120,000 are fully engaged with what I'm doing all the time. Yeah. Well, so that would be hard.
I don't think it's necessarily left up to the WorkbenchCon staff to determine who can purchase what ticket. Say she puts one at $450 to access everything and $250 to access just the classes. Well, fine. If you want to be that fan that's going to pay $450 to access everything, then great. You just paid that $450. But by having that two different price points, you're hoping to eliminate some of the people that are just want to go see you present. That don't necessarily want to go see all the different brands. So
I don't know. I feel like that's a hard call because I feel like there's people out there that would be like, oh, well, I want the full experience. I want to go talk to everyone, and they'll save the money to go and be in the area with everybody, even though they want to see the talk. But you know that all of those people are going to be there too. But
you limit it. You say we have 200 tickets that are full price, $450. They get you access to everything, and you have 225 or 250 tickets that are only class.
But then let's say those 200 sell out and a lot of other influencers didn't get them. So then the other influencer that is doing this for an income now can't get the ticket.
think I opened up a can of worms with
No,
this.
you're right.
No,
but I don't think there's any right answer.
And yeah,
it's hard.
That's probably going to be a huge topic of what Eric and I talk about. It's over the next several days. You know, it is hard, but it's something. I've had enough sponsor, like I said. You know, it's fun. It's fun to try to figure out, and that's what this is. You know, it's just what we do.
Brainstorm ideas and figure it out.
You could work in the sponsors a little bit, where you could send a list of influencers that that you're interested in and that have applied maybe to go to the show, and you could present all of those to the brands, and they can say, you know, I know this person, I like this group of people. You know, I don't know, something like that to maybe get their input on who they would really like to get to know and talk to and work with.
Well, and I also think having, so we had a lot of fun with the networking events, like the night in NOLA, but maybe having events like that are not so social, that maybe are a little bit more focused with the sponsors that not everybody can go to. So only the influencers, and I'm all about the micro influencer. So the macro, is it macro?
Micro.
So anyway, it's just, to your point, how do we figure out who's who and what's what?
It's hard,
but yeah. But I think the fans, there were a lot of people that don't even have, they're not content creators on any level, macro, micro, anything. Yeah. And I think that's where the sponsors were a little thrown off. So
sorry to interrupt you, because I know you just said the sponsors were thrown off. It would be cool to throw out another crazy idea. You have like your main big sponsors that pay for a booth that you know that you always have. Then you could have, like, if you do like the little more, not segregated, but the, like how you just said, the night in NOLA, if you do something like that, but more geared towards meeting and talking with sponsors and influencers and getting that connection. If you had bigger tickets for the sponsors to be like, okay, you can have a booth, but let's say, you know, other companies might not have the money for the booth.
Right.
They could pay a little fee to then go to just that event and talk to people as well.
And network. Yeah. Organically. Yeah. That actually, I love that idea. I like that idea a lot.
Because then you can like kind of make a little, like, there's some money to be made there, I feel like. Because I feel like a lot of, it's a bit, like you just said, it's a big commitment. It is. It's a lot of money for that company, and they want to, you know, make sure that they meet talk to them and, you know, whatnot. But then maybe, you know, some other companies can't afford that, but they also really would love to talk to people. So that's a great, in between.
And I think the networking events were hugely accepted. Like they were well received by everybody on sponsor and attendee side. So yeah, capitalizing on that and just fine tuning it a little bit, I think is a big 2019 learn and a 2020 fix.
Yes. Can I come work for you? I actually would like to come and work for you.
Come on.
Perfect. It's so
I'd
fun
love to have you.
I love brainstorming. Like, me and my mom brainstorm all the time, and then we're like, oh no, that doesn't really work. Okay, let's try again. I love it.
Yes. Yeah, I do too. You know, it's and that's what I love. That's why I love the working with people that are work with who they are and their spirit inside of them, because you get it. Like, it's all, life is just a bunch of trial and error.
Yeah.
And we're not brain surgeons. So it literally is trial and error, and it's so fun. If we allow it to be fun, it's so fun.
Oh yeah, and you can't. The people that take it super seriously and get very upset about their failure or that little mistake will not continue to grow and make something great. And that's what's like, I laugh at myself. I'm just like, oh, that's hilarious. I'm going to just tweak it like a little bit. And then you figure out something amazing. It's
not like we're far off. It's just
we just need to get a little more steps to get there.
Exactly.
Yeah. One of the biggest things I've heard over the last several years, and I kind of follow that, is be quick to fail fast. Because when you fail fast, you're going to grow faster, because you'll learn from those mistakes, right? And it's being innovative. If you're not failing, you're not being innovative. You're not trying something new. You're following the same pattern, the same thing that everybody else has done. So
exactly.
Kind of switch gears here, because we could go around this table all day and still may never come to a conclusion on like the best way to get more FaceTime. And it's probably something that's going to have to be over the course of months trying to figure out.
Yeah. Well, and it's just, I think at the end of the day, you cannot please everybody. So you just try to please as many as you can.
Yeah.
Yes.
Let's talk a little bit about the welcome dinner. I know just from experience this year, getting in as speakers and presenters, people are coming in to see the presenters, right? They're not necessarily coming in to see the brands, they're coming in to see the people that are on the speaking list. Have you thought about moving forward, having the speakers already in place at the welcome dinner before allowing anybody else to enter? So say if the welcome dinner or the welcome event starts at 5, part of the contract is all presenters will be here checked in at 4:15. That way, as people start checking in, they start coming in, they see those presenters. The presenters are already there. Just speaking from where I came from, is I was stuck in way back of the line. It took me like 45 minutes to even get even get checked in and get in. And there's already a huge crowd.
Right.
And then
I love that idea.
Then you're kind of playing catch up.
I hadn't thought about it. I love it. It is in the contract to be there. But I like making it to where people are already in there, and that makes, a lot of the eager beavers are not the, are not necessarily like the first people in line aren't necessarily the first people. So they come in and there's no one there, and there's a level of disappointment. And so I think this is a fabulous idea.
Yeah. So like I said, purely coming from like, hey, I was stuck in the back, and like once I get in there, like I didn't even make it very far around, because like everybody started crowding. I'm trying to talk to like Drew and I and Sam as like we were walking in, versus, hey, we can already be in there and be comfortable. So when people come, we're ready to engage in those conversations, and we're not just trying to get out of the walkway from everybody.
Right. I like it.
So, but coming off of WBC, it's always like you always leave and you feel two emotions: exhausted and overwhelmed, because you're like, man, like there's so much, like you learn so much and how to implement it all so fast. But man, if WorkbenchCon could be a week long, I would take it in a heartbeat.
Yeah, I know.
So,
I just came off of a week long conference, and it's kind of nice. Like if we could do, a whole intense day, and then half a day, and then that other half, if people would actually do it though, of where you just kind of sit together in a round table and you process everything you learned. Mm-hmm. And then as you're processing, you're able to still speak with everybody around your table, or you get up and you move to a different table, whatever. But that would kind of be really cool to add an extra day or two to be able to process all that information. I would have loved that, because when I came home from the conference I was just at, I was doing that. I'm like, gosh, I wish I had somebody right here to bounce these ideas I have off of.
Yeah.
That's a good idea.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, we didn't touch on. You had mentioned this, and I want to get this out of the way, Jeremy, before we get too far and have to cut it off. But we had already talked about it before we got on the show. So where is the next conference going to be and when?
Okay, so this is just like just cut the presses. We just signed our contract for the Cobb Galleria right at the Atlanta Braves Battery for February 2021 and 22nd. So very similar time period. And still in the Atlanta area, just right on the well, it has an Atlanta address, but it's more in the suburbs and a lot more.
Is that Marietta over there?
Yeah, so it's right below Marietta.
Okay. All right. So that's I'm guessing that's Wednesday or Thursday, Friday, Saturday again.
Yeah, so the Wednesday is the 19th. So we'll be moving in on the 19th. And hopefully everybody will come in on the 19th and have all that special time. And if we're able to, we could extend something. So the Waverly Renaissance is going to be our
time out. There's your cute dog. Can I see your cute dog?
Okay.
What's his name again? I forget.
Murphy.
Back there doing tricks.
It's so funny. I'm like, what are you telling me to do?
No, he's back there doing tricks for a treat.
Is he a doodle? He's a doodle, right?
Yes, he's a Labradoodle.
Oh, I am obsessed with doodles.
Sweet baby boy. He is. He's so sweet.
What's up, buddy? Oh, he's like the chocolate color. You're like, okay.
He's chocolate with white. He's so cute. He's our little baby boy.
Oh my gosh, they're so cute.
So we didn't mean to get sidetracked. So
I know. Wait.
Yes.
That little
I know we have to get them together.
Yeah, they're so cute. I'm obsessed. I'm doing a pet woodworking show. It's going to be great.
It's this weekend, isn't it?
No, it's at the end of April.
Okay.
Oh, Murphy has got to be a guest.
Oh, yes. Murphy, please come to DC. It's in Old Town. You would love it. Old Town Alexandria is so cute.
Yes.
Yeah, it's going to be awesome. It's like all dog related, everything. And then there's actually it's not a woodworking show, but it's just vendors. And so I made a ton of dog stuff. I'm so excited. But okay, back on track.
Oh, look at your baby.
I know we had talked about it before WorkbenchCon 2019, and there was definitely some talk about it while we were there. What made you decide not to take it on the road this year?
Yeah, so many people. So we did a survey, and so many people were like, we love it in Atlanta. I think because we do want to move, we had our sights set on Dallas, and I was probably 80% headed to Dallas. And so many people wrote back and said they love Atlanta. They want to keep it in Atlanta. So we felt, back to that trial and error thing, that we're too new to disrupt our roots. So stay in Atlanta for a couple more years, establish those roots, and then go on the road. And what we might do, I've been sincerely talking to a couple folks. We might do a smaller show out west, like San Diego. Do a smaller show somewhere in the middle of the year.
Okay.
To capture those folks. I don't know though. I think there's a power in all of us getting together in one space.
Yeah. I mean, I do get it. I get that the most conferences are not on the West Coast, but it is, in my opinion, a little bit harder to get to the West Coast than it is a major international hub, and the major international hubs are going to be LA or San Fran, and those cities are just so massive.
Right.
They engulf it, and things are a lot more expensive out there. They're more expensive to get to. So I see pros and cons to both. Like, it would be awesome to go out that way, but when you look at the audience and maybe poll the audience and find out where they come from, if most of the audience is not coming from the West Coast, or even not even the majority of them, you may lose a big chunk of your audience that would have to travel across the United States if they're primarily based on the East Coast or the Midwest. So that's one of those hard things. Like, I definitely see pros and cons to both, and I would have loved it to be in Texas because that's my home state, and I got a bunch of family there. But at the end of the day, Atlanta's easier to drive to.
When we do move, travel, not that we would never come back to Atlanta, but when we start to move around, it'll definitely be Texas. I just feel like
it's a good middle ground almost.
It
for
is
everyone to kind of get to.
Exactly. Yeah. But yeah, I mean, it was astonishing to me how many people said they want to stay in Atlanta. So we decided we'd stay in Atlanta for at least this year, and grow our roots a little deeper and make sure that we're onto something, and then move.
Yeah. Well, it makes sense because like we're talking so far, like all the kinks aren't even ironed out yet, right? You're still trying to figure out the right way to handle attendees and the right way to handle the sponsors and all that. So, trying to figure that out while you're on the road, and you live in Atlanta, so now you're gonna have to commute back and forth to Texas, try to figure some of those things out. It's a little bit harder. So I definitely think that's a good move just for ease sake and stability wise. And
I'm right. We're all about like that strength. Stability is a great word. So yeah, it just felt right to stay put for now. I'm one of the only ones out of the core team that wants to move all around, and so I had to listen to some. I had listened to the audience. One was huge. That was really the selling point. But I had a couple people that were strong around me saying, "You really need to stay." Yeah. And I didn't want to listen.
And
but then once that.
Sorry, I keep interrupting, but you probably have your other companies that you have made a connection with and work with, and it's easier to be like, hey, I have this event coming up, I need the tables and I need the chairs, and them. But at the same time, it's super fun to travel because then the people coming are going to a new place, and it's completely different. And like Dallas would be super cool. I just saw that there was a fashion kind of conference in Dallas recently.
Maybe you just work it out with Chip and Joanna Gaines to host it there in Magnolia. Why not?
Oh my gosh, that would be so cool.
Right?
But it would be really cool. But wait one more year, and then you can move all over. And then come to Virginia, and then our dogs can have a play date. So
exactly.
It all works out. And we're a big hub.
I want to be on the road. And I don't mind going. It's really, surprisingly, it's not that hard to do this on the road. It's like, but to your point, like, we're still a little bit trying to work out the kinks and stuff. But once it gets to be a really good synergy, then it's really not that difficult. Like to do corporate events, moving all around, which that's something that's my background. It's not that hard to do it remotely. Just hotel is a hotel, it's a hotel, and a space is a space.
Yeah.
That's where my job. It looks romantic, but it's not all that romantic.
And Murphy can travel with you.
He does travel with me a lot. He is such a good traveler.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yes.
So when are you going to start announcing the speakers for 2020?
2020. I don't know. That's a good question. I have not even put that on my calendar. I'll probably announce the dates and then a speaker call within the next, I'd say by the end of the month. I'll probably announce the dates on social by the end of this week or the beginning of next, and then speaker call first week of May, probably.
Okay. Nice.
Yeah.
So, all right. Well, has Haven sold out for this year already?
Haven is not sold out. We are so thrilled. Our early bird tickets pretty much sold out the last day, which maybe even the day before, but we're super excited about that. And then we have, I would say, about 50 to 75 more tickets to sell. So we've got to get our little acting gear on the marketing front to make that happen. But very excited about everything that we're doing. Haven's going to have a couple new things this year as well. So Saturday lunch, we'll have like an expert Haven help desks open, and it's going to be 5 or 6 different topics. If you want to go in and get some, not necessarily one-on-one, but maybe like 5-on-1 help. So I'm excited about that. That's kind of a new concept to Haven, and a couple events around Haven's going to be new this year. So looking forward to all that.
Okay. And the dates for Haven are what?
July, I should have them on the tip of my tongue. I want to say July 17, 18, 19. Yeah, it's the similar. It's the Thursday, Friday, Saturday.
So
18, 19, and 20.
Yep.
There you go.
And it's
My
in
move-in
Atlanta?
day is the 17th.
Nice. And it's in Atlanta, right?
Yes. So we're back in Atlanta at the Grand Hyatt Buckhead.
Nice.
Okay. Nice.
Yeah.
Nice. Yeah, absolutely. I mean, one of these days, maybe I'll get a chance to get over to Haven.
I know. I know
you're travel.
Yeah. Well, I'll be done, hopefully, with all my travel, the most of it by the end of May. So from then, it's a trip here or there, maybe. I know, there's a couple of things popping up for like Key West and Guam and stuff, but nothing like I'm doing now.
Just Guam.
Yeah, just
no
Guam.
big deal.
Yeah, no, definitely. But yeah. So trying to get another conference, I think it's a good fit, right? Because you're coming off the high of WorkbenchCon in February. Like by the time July rolls around, like you need that next kick to get you through the rest of the year. To when you ramp up for WorkbenchCon. So
exactly.
Yeah, hopefully one of these days we'll be able to make it happen.
Yeah.
Yes. Well, as soon as you can make it happen, you let me know.
Yeah, absolutely.
So. Well, there's been tons of information about WorkbenchCon, and if you guys have not gone to the show before, if you've missed the last two, I know I missed the first one, and I'm so sorry that I did because I heard it was so good.
You quit your job that day, so what does it matter?
Oh, true. It was a big day.
I would skip a conference if I could quit my job.
But if you guys are going to be in that area or have plans to attend WorkbenchCon 2020, I highly suggest that you do. It was great fun, and it was a really good way to kickstart my butt to get in gear to start my YouTube channel back again. Because I had to take a little bit of layoff time, but it is a really energetic conference to get a hold of, and like I said, I highly recommend going. So, Chris, we want to thank you for being on the show.
Thank you.
I know that you have some contact information that you can give to our listeners if they want to ask you any questions about WorkbenchCon or even Haven for that matter. So, how would they go about doing that?
Please email me at workbenchcon@gmail.com. That's the best way to get a hold of me. And even if it's about Haven, you can ask me there. That comes direct to me.
Nice.
Okay. Jeremy, go ahead and give your contact info real quick.
You can find me at countrysideworkshop.com. I got a contact form over there that will send me an email, or you can get me over on Facebook or Instagram, Countryside Workshop. Probably going to get the quickest answer coming through DM on Instagram, just because it seems like that's my natural go-to place at this moment. So, if you want to hit me up, go there, and be glad to answer any questions you got.
And Sam?
And I am most active on Instagram. You guys can shoot me a message over there, SamRyan Designs. But bear with me if I don't respond right away. But if you want to get
months later
super contact with me, you can go ahead and just email me at samryandesigns@gmail.com. I'm trying to think. My website is under construction still. We're still making changes to it. So
or contact her mom, and her mom will get the answer for you.
She's my business partner. So like Kristin, if you're a designer, there's you have so much up in your head that you want to do, and we're have very short attention spans, which my mom is my left arm. She's amazing. So I don't know what I'd do without her, because I saw all these ideas and I'm we need to do it. And then I'm oh wait, I forgot we have this and I got to go. And so, you guys can email me there, samryandesigns@gmail.com.
Well, if you want to get in contact with me, you can go through my website, which is up and running, rhwoodshop.com.
Rubbing it in? Are you rubbing it in?
It's motivation. It's just motivation.
That's right. But you can find all my contact info there through the website, as well as all of my social media. I am pretty active on Instagram, and I am very active on YouTube. So you can find my channel there, and if you just even comment on a video, I'll respond to it, because I try and respond to just about every comment that comes through. If you want to get in contact with the podcast itself, you can reach us through email, which is kickback@woodshop101podcast.com. And we do have a voicemail phone number that you can call from any cell phone, landline, whatever. And it's 409-234-3959. And don't forget about the voice memo app on your phone that you can submit to the email that I just listed. The audio quality on that is fantastic. And we will submit all of that on air, and you can give us feedback, questions, whatever, and be featured on the show. So, again, we want to thank Kristin for being on the show. You gave us a lot of great information, and we are looking so forward to 2020 and hopefully see a lot of the changes that you are talking about implementing, and hopefully have 10 times better show. So thank you. Thank you very much for being on the show again.
I love it. Thank you guys so much. It's such a pleasure talking and chatting and laughing with you guys.
Well, I know that Jeremy has informed you what our sign-off is, so we're going to go ahead and get that over with. So from Jeremy, Kristin, Sam, and myself, we want to wish you guys well. Please be safe in your shops, and we will see you at WorkbenchCon 2020. So 1, 2, 3. Boom!
Boom.